You ever have one of those moments where you just stop and think, who even am I anymore? Like life's gotten so loud, everyone's opinions, expectations, the pressure to perform, that you can barely hear yourself think. And deep down, you know there's still a you in there somewhere. But it feels buried under everything you've had to become just to survive. That's what I mean when I talk about the return to self. It's not about going back in time or becoming some old version of yourself. It's about remembering who you really are underneath all the noise. Think about when you were little. You didn't question anything about your worth or your place in the world. You just were. Curious, open, present. But over time, life started layering things on top of that. Expectations, labels, fears. You learned to please, to protect, to perform. And one day you wake up and realize you've been living from your defenses instead of your essence. The moment you start to feel that pull inside, that quiet whisper saying, "There's more to me than this," that's the soul calling you home. Coming home to yourself isn't instant. It's not like flipping a switch. It's a process, one that takes honesty, patience, and a whole lot of unlearning. Because when you start peeling back those layers, what you find at first isn't always comfortable. You might feel empty, uncertain, maybe even lost. But that space you feel? That's not a void. That's you clearing room for truth. Meditation, quiet time, journaling, whatever helps you listen to yourself again, those aren't escapes. They're how you start to reconnect with that steady presence underneath all the doing. And a big part of that return is realizing you don't have to define yourself anymore. We live in a world that loves boxes: successful, worthy, broken, healed. But the real you doesn't fit in any of them. You're not your mistakes. You're not your achievements. You're not even your story. When you remember that, you stop reacting to everything like it's personal. You start responding instead, calmly, intentionally, from awareness. And that's where peace starts to show up. Not because life gets easier, but because you get clearer. You'll notice the return to self in small moments first. When someone tries to push your buttons and you don't react. When you start choosing stillness instead of noise. When you'd rather feel peace than prove a point. It's not that things stop happening, it's that they stop controlling you. You begin to see every challenge as something that's shaping your awareness instead of defining your worth. And that changes everything. The more you return to yourself, the more you see that same self in everyone else. You stop feeling so separate. You realize we're all just different expressions of the same energy, learning, growing, remembering. That's when compassion starts to flow naturally. You don't have to force love anymore, you become it. Because once you know who you really are, you can't help but recognize it everywhere. So if you've been searching for something that feels missing, maybe it's not missing at all. Maybe you